This is our video requesting the various permissions for the Demandu Google OAuth platform from you. These are the required sensitive scopes that we are trying to address. Number one, the auth calendar, the calendar.events, the spreadsheets, spreadsheets.read-only, tasks and tasks.read-only. We require all of these permissions because our application Demandu uses integrations with a variety of Google offerings such as Google Sheets, Google Calendar, Google Tasks, Google Contacts, etc. And for that, we require these advanced permissions. For the same, I will be firstly showcasing how the Demandu application will be firstly integrating with all of these, and secondly, I will be showcasing how these particular permissions are going to be used. So going forward, we will firstly be creating the integrations with all of these. Now, going forward, firstly we have to go on to Demandu. So here we are on the Demandu platform and we have already created a website bot. Just to showcase the process of creating a website bot, it is very simple with just 3 easy steps. Firstly, the user has to click create a bot, which is present on the top left hand side under the bots section. Here when we go to bots, we can click on create bot followed by choosing whichever is our use case, which is website. Click on next, and then any of the following business goals will do right now for demonstration, which let's say lead generation. Once we click on proceed to the next step, we will have come over onto the chat flow. Now, by default, the chat flow has a certain number of components, and by default, it is turned on as the default flow. If we turn on the toggle for revisit flow, basically anytime the user comes back to this chat flow, they will see the same sequence of messages. Now here in the chat flow, we currently have 2 messages, welcome to Demandu and what is your email address. Following this, I will also be adding a couple different components over here in order for us to get the complete information of the user. Number 1, I will be adding the name, and number 2, I will be adding the phone number. Once I have all of this information present, I will then be asking them to book an appointment. So this will be my generic flow for the same, and in the end I will just send one last message, which will be a thank you message. Let's configure the chat flow. First is Demandu, what is your name, followed which I want the user to be asked what their name is. From name, I want them to be asked what their email address is. Once I get their email address, I want them to be asked what their phone number is. And once I get all of this information, I want to be able to send them on over to the appointment booking component, which is to please choose a slot. I'm choosing the default country code as India because that is where I am located. Once the user chooses a slot, we will give them all of this option: starting time 9 a.m. to 7 p.m, 15 interval, 10 future days. We are going with Google Calendar, and we will after that go to the last message, which currently is welcome to Demandu, but let's change this. This will be thanks, followed by simply the name of the person who has chosen for this particular account or started this particular chat flow, and this will come up as end. So this is how our chat flow will work. Now moving forward onto the integrations. Given the permissions that we have requested, I will be showcasing the integration with a variety of different Google offerings such as Google Calendar, Google Tasks, Google Contacts and Google Sheets. Number 1, let's go to Google Contacts. So to connect to Google Contacts, we have to go to third-party apps integration, search for Google Contacts and then click on connect. Once we click on connect, we will get the option to sign in. Once I click on sign in, I will be taken over here. I have to choose an account. I'm going to choose this one right now, which is yuvraj1@reliance.com. I will get that Google has not verified this particular app because obviously it has not. That's why we're requesting the permission. I will click on advance and I will say continue onto the application. I will click on continue over here and give it all the permissions that is required. App has not been verified. I'm giving it all the permissions and all access to all the 9 services that are required. These are being these services. When I click on done and I click on continue, Express Chat will have been offered all of these particular services, and my Google Contacts will have successfully been integrated into my bot. I will select the question and the parameter with which to map it with. We need to have 3 different parameters over here. Number 1, the name, the email and the phone number. Thankfully for all of these, we have added the questions in the chat flow already. So for name, I want the mapping to be done via the name. For the For the email address, I want the mapping to be done via the email question. And for the phone number, I want the mapping to be done via the phone number question. Once I do all of this and I click on save, the mapping will have been done successfully and I will get a success message over here on the top of the screen. Then secondly, we will go on to the second Google offering that we have, which is Google Calendar. Clicking on connect for Google Calendar, I get all the information over here, click on connect and then click on sign in with Google. The same process will occur over here as well. I have to choose the account with which I want to integrate. I have to choose the advanced option followed by going to Express Chat. Click on continue and then agree to all the permissions that are being offered over here. Once I do so, the Google application will have been successfully integrated. Google Calendar, I have to choose two different things, the date and the time and the email address. So for the email address, I will choose email followed by the email address. And for the appointment booking slot, I will choose the appointment, which will be used to correct the date and the time. Once I click on same, I will get the message on the top of the screen that the mapping has been done successfully. Next, we go on to the third Google offering, which is Google Let's Do Tasks. For Google Tasks, same process as before for all of the other integrations. Click on sign in. Once we click on sign in, we have to choose the account. Since I have chosen this particular account for the sign up process, I will click on then click on continue. Verify all the permissions I want to give, view tasks, organize tasks, which were part of the restricted scope. And once I click on continue, the mapping will have been done successfully. I will get a success message and I will be showcased this screen. I want this task to be created in the custom development task list. The parameters that need to be added are the notes, title, notes and the due date. So let's do this. That for the task title, I will add name or the name of the person talking, and for the notes, I will talk about the email address. So title over here and notes over here. We don't need to add a due, so I'll just click on save. I'll remove this one, then click on save. The mapping has now been done successfully for the Google task as well. Lastly, we will go to the last offering that is done by Google, that is Google Sheets. I will click on connect and followed by clicking on connect once again. I will again be asked to sign in to Google Sheets. Once I click on sign in, I will have to choose the account and the same process has to take place all over again for as has been done for the other Google integrations. Click on continue. Express Chat of needs permissions. I will click on continue and the Google Sheet will have been successfully integrated. I will get a message for the same and my screen will transform into the mapping permissions for the same. And just like all other Google integrations, I can also click on test lead over here to test basically whichever lead I want to send. Since the application has not been verified yet, it's not allowing me to send the lead. So for the title, let's do Demandu test. Select the question, provide the name, mapping value, let me make that to name. And the question for the email address, let me do it for the email. Email address, let's do it for the email. Once I click on save, we need a default subsheet. I'll create a default subsheet. I'll select number 1 as the default subsheet. I will click on continue and the mapping will have been updated successfully. Now we have integrated all 4 different Google applications with our Demandu application and our website bot. So now in order to test this functionality out, I need to install my chatbot somewhere. For installation, I will click on install followed by any of the following places where I want to install the website. Since I am doing this on a non-major, like nothing like WordPress or something like that right now for demonstration, I will click on not sure. Here I will get a code snippet which I have to put inside anywhere on my code in order to make the bot. For the same, let's open a new incognito window and just go to W3 Schools. W3 Schools will allow me to run this particular HTML script, so I will just paste it over here and then I will click on run. Once I do so, my chatbot will open up on the bottom right and I will have the option to go to the chat flow that we had configured earlier. It will ask the same questions that we have configured. It will ask me to provide my name. Let me provide my name as follows. Sanjay. What is my email address? I will use the email address as, let's use a different one. gmail.com. And next it will ask me for my phone number. I will enter my phone number as this. Once I've entered all of these details, I will have the option of seeing the calendar with whose calendar was integrated over here. Let's say I want to book a meeting for the 4th of March, and let's say the timing to be 1:30 to 11:30 to 11:45. Lastly, I will get a message, thanks Sanchit, which is the name that I had originally entered, showcasing to me that the chat flow has been completed. With this, and I've closed the bot as well. With this, my chat flow will have been successfully completed, and now we can go on to the different Google applications to see that this information has been entered correctly. We had integrated 4 different things: Google Sheets, Google Calendar, Google Contacts, and Google Tasks. Let us go to each one of them in turn to see everything. Firstly, let's go on to Google Tasks. When we go on to Google Tasks, here we will be able to see that in the custom development pipeline, a new task has been added with the name Sanchit and the description as the email, which is what we had configured earlier for the Google task as well. If I quickly just go over back here and recap, for the Google tasks, we had configured the title to be the name and the email address to be part of the notes, which is how it is showcased over here. So this is how the Google task integration will work. Next, we will go on to another one. Let's go to Google Contacts. Once we've gone over to Google Contacts, I will have a new contact created, which is right over here. If I click on this, I will say it was edited today, just now at 3:41. The time currently is 3:42, just 1 minute after this contact has been created. The name is the same, phone number and email address has been entered over here. So this is how it will look for Google Tasks. Next, then let's go on to Google Calendar. Just to quickly remind us, we had booked a meeting for the 3rd of March. So let's go on over to the 3rd of March, and we will have booked a meeting sometime around here, which will come up over here shortly, since it takes a little bit of time to come up on the Google task over here. Lastly, let's go on to Google Sheets. For Google Sheets, I can go on to the Google Sheets, and we had created a subsheet known as Demandu Test. If I open the Demandu Test subsheet, I will see that the name as well as the email address has been showcased over here. Hence, following this, I can safely showcase. Sorry, we had booked the meeting for the 4th. So here it is, Bot Penguin, with the guest name being Sanchit. Timing booked as we had one for 11:30 to 11:45. So in this manner, Demandu application has successfully been integrated and showcased all the functionality for all the Google integrations that are being offered, that being Google Tasks, Google Contacts, Google Sheets, as well as Google Calendar. So this is how why we are requesting those advanced permissions, and this is how we aim to use them.